Christian saints who were vegetarian. Saint James the Just, brother of Jesus Christ. Traditionally regarded as fully vegetarian, abstaining from meat and wine throughout his life. Saint Clement of Alexandria. Advocated for a plant-based diet and is traditionally viewed as supporting vegetarian Christian living. Tertullian. Associated with strict asceticism and prolonged meat abstinence within Christian discipline. Origen. Known for extreme asceticism and lifelong avoidance of meat. Saint Basil the Great. Promoted a monastic way of life in which meat was avoided, making him a key supporter of Christian vegetarian practice. Saint Gregory of Nazianzus. Linked to ascetic traditions that favored vegetarian eating as part of spiritual discipline. Saint John Chrysostom. Promoted long-term meatless living through strict fasting and ascetic practice. Saint Jerome. Lived as a dedicated vegetarian, subsisting on herbs, vegetables, and simple plant foods. Saint Anthony the Great. Kept a strictly meatless diet his entire monastic life. Saint Pachomius. Established monastic communities where meat was not eaten, making vegetarianism the norm. Saint Macarius of Egypt. Known for a simple, plant-based monastic diet consistent with vegetarian asceticism. Saint Arsenius the Great. Followed a strict vegetarian lifestyle as part of his desert asceticism. Saint Syncletica of Alexandria. Observed a meatless ascetic diet typical of early Christian monastic practice. Saint Isaac the Syrian. Praised compassionate living and followed an ascetic lifestyle commonly understood to be vegetarian. Saint John Climacus. Encouraged a meat-free monastic diet as part of spiritual purification. Saint Ephrem the Syrian. Practiced a simple vegetarian diet throughout his ascetic life. Saint Benedict of Nursia. Instituted a monastic rule that forbade meat for monks, promoting a vegetarian community life. Saint Catherine of Siena. Lived on an extreme ascetic diet that excluded meat. Saint Teresa of Avila. Followed the Carmelite tradition of long-term meat abstinence as part of spiritual discipline. Saint Seraphim of Seraph. Lived most of his life on a plant-based forest diet, effectively vegetarian. Saint Paisios of Mount Athos. Observed Athonite monastic fasting traditions, living a lifestyle that was vegetarian most of the year.